ABC 10 News starts now with breaking news.
San Diego clears the state's metrics for the third day in a row and qualifies to get off the COVID-19 watch list. The state just needs to approve that move. In the meantime, San Diego's 14-day rolling average for positive tests stayed flat as 4% of yesterday's tests came back positive. But we are still well below where we were just a month ago. Among today's numbers, there were 406 new cases. That brings our total to just over 34,000. The county also reported another 7 deaths for a total of 622. Our ABC 10 News anchor Derek Stahl has been tracking an in-depth look at the state's watch list. He joins us live right now. So Derek, you've been looking into what this means for schools and what happens if we end up on that watch list again.
It's a question a lot of parents have on their minds right now. Now that San Diego County has met the requirements to get off the watch list, a new countdown timer will begin tomorrow, and it'll determine whether or not local schools K through 12 can reopen. We need a perfect score for 14 days in a row on all the state metrics. If we can do that on day 15, all K through 12 schools in the county would be allowed to reopen if and when they come up with a safe reopening plan. In a best case scenario, the soonest they could reopen would be August 29th. Now, again, we need a perfect score on 6 metrics measured by the state. The one that's been a problem for us has been one called case rate. It's basically case totals adjusted by population. That was a problem beginning in July. It was an issue for over a month, but this week it stabilized and we got below the 100 score that we needed. County leaders credit the actions that they took in mid-July, moving certain businesses outdoors. Now, once schools do get the green light to reopen, once we get through this 14-day window, the state wants teachers and staff to get tested on a rotating basis. Those tests will determine whether or not there need to be any individual schools shut down. Again, a lot of questions here. If we hit a trigger during this 14-day window, we go back to go. It's like Monopoly. You go back to go and that 14-day countdown window starts over. And a lot of people are wondering, what happens if we get put back on the watch list? If you get bad data for 3 days in a row, you go back on the watch list. The good news is for parents is that once schools reopen, if we do get back on the watch list, we do not have to close down all schools again. It'll be conducted on a school-by-school basis based on the testing metrics that I mentioned a few moments ago. Steve?
And Derek, I guess, again, it's important to note we're still waiting to hear from the state about this, and this has nothing to do with businesses at this point. We still have to wait from the state and the county for that.
Yeah, exactly. The state wants to verify and double check the data to ensure that we are in fact on the watch list. But the reason that we're off the watch list, the reason for that is because the state has had issues with their data. The county has been separately crunching their data. They're very confident that we've met all the requirements. So the countdown timer is going to begin tomorrow, that 14-day window. And yes, this only will affect schools. A lot of businesses that have been operating outdoors are probably wondering, when can we reopen? The county leaders, they've been talking to the state. They're trying to get additional permission to do that. But at this point, it's just going to apply to schools.
All right, Derek, thank you. All right, let's check in with the mayor right now. San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer is also seeking answers. A lot of confusion to the county status. Tweeting out today, what does a county do when it gets off California's COVID watch list? No one knows because state guidelines haven't been set. With San Diego's cases no longer hitting the state's trigger, we are asking the governor for a clear process based on solid data so we can now move forward. Hopefully we'll get some answers from that for our businesses as well. ABC 10 News will send out an alert the moment the state confirms we are off the watch list. If you want to stay on top of breaking news, just download the free 10 News mobile app in your app store. Regardless of our status on the state's watch list, 56 elementary schools in the county have already applied for a waiver that would allow in-person learning. The waiver is only open to schools serving K through 6th grade students. Now, to get approved, the county will review each applicant's proposed safety plan, and once that is complete, the application will then be sent to Sacramento for the state to approve. Mount Helix Academy in La Mesa submitted their application just this week.
I'm hoping to hear back from the state and the county by next week, by Wednesday or Thursday of next week. Our plan is to welcome students back on campus on Monday, August 31st, when we're ready for those kids.
Now, the county said it was still reviewing applications and has not yet sent to the state for approval. In the meantime, students in one East County school district may return to their version of their classrooms.
We are replicating the actual school day that our students would normally be in.
New at 6, our ABC 10 News reporter Michael Chen explains the district's plan for optional learning inside a pod on school grounds.
When the governor's orders pointed to distance learning for local schools, Alpine Union School District Superintendent Rich Newman says the feedback from parents came quickly, though the district took pride in their virtual classes.
Concerns for the future for their children and the learning loss their students were facing.
Those specific concerns, familiar ones, from access to computers and internet access, social isolation and distractions, to parents' work schedules. So the district came up with a plan.
So we are replicating the actual school day that our students would normally be in.
Newman says they'll be offering up space for free at schools, from gyms and classrooms to outdoor space, for 12 student learning pods. Each pod will be supervised by one parent each day. The parents divvy out their shifts within the group.
Fill out a facilities use agreement, just like a sports league would or anybody else would that allows them on campus. They'll sign a waiver.
The district won't be just providing space. Students will have access to computers and tutors, both in person and online. Newman says the pods will follow state COVID guidelines, including social distancing and mandatory masks for 3rd grade and above.
It allows our parents to once again return to work and know that their child has a safe place to be and support for their distance learning.
The district also plans to expand its current before and after school care into a 10.5-hour day with similar learning pods. Between the two programs, they hope to reach 100% of families needing help.
We hope to leave our students and our parents through this process with a sense of normalcy.
Michael Chen, ABC 10 News.
Classes begin August 24th. Newman says they have consulted attorneys who say that their plans fall within state guidelines. Now, late this afternoon, a county spokesperson told us they believe the plan would not be allowed, but they will seek clarification from state officials. As local school districts find solutions to help students without reliable access to a computer or the internet, Governor Gavin Newsom is also tackling the issue at the state level.
We've been talking about the digital divide for the vast majority of our lifetime. We want to move past this and have the digital divide in our rearview mirror.
Today, the governor revealed new guidelines to help students gain access to proper technology for distance learning. The new rules require school districts to have access to devices and Wi-Fi connectivity for all students. The governor said that companies such as Apple and Office Depot and Staples as well have set aside thousands of devices to give to students. An additional $5.3 billion has also been made available to help schools implement those new guidelines. Also today, record-breaking temperatures meet the pandemic in a dangerous combination. We have team coverage of this heat wave hitting San Diego, starting with our ABC 10 News reporter Cassie Carlisle, who's looking at how businesses that now operate outside because of the coronavirus are sweating it out.
The breeze off the bay feels amazing during this heat, but there's some people who can't come out and enjoy it because they're working during the pandemic.
Get pampered.
Been a while for me.
It feels good getting a fresh haircut, and Sports Clips in Claremont is one of the only places people can go during the pandemic.
For me, it's been like 2 months. So usually I get it once a month. So yeah, it's been desperate times.
Thankful barbers like Michael Slutka are bearing the heat for them.
It was pretty brutal yesterday.
The shop even changing their hours due to the extreme weather.
Normally open 9 to 5, so we adjusted it today and tomorrow from 8:30 to 1.
Thankful they have a tent providing shade and a breeze from the bay, though it did cause a complication.
Yeah, because the wind was kind of picking up the tent without that hole cut through it, so.
A hole the shape of a heart.
Yeah, our manager did that just to spread the love.
Taking difficult circumstances and rising above.
And the heat will be with us all weekend. Families are telling me that they're going to come out here to the coast so they can enjoy this breeze. Reporting on the bay, Cassie Carlisle, ABC 10 News.
We're also in the middle of a statewide flex alert. We are all being asked to conserve as much electricity as possible until 10 o'clock tonight. As we said, we have these record-breaking temperatures right now, and our meteorologist Angelica Campos joins us live from home with an update on what we can expect for the next few days. It's going to be hot.
Yes, if you're melting already today, it's going to be tough this weekend. The heat will continue. This heat wave is just getting started, and already we've had multiple records around the county. In San Diego, just shy by 3 degrees from the record of 90 degrees, but in Oceanside, we almost made it to 90 with 88 degrees. Carlsbad 85, Alpine 102, 101 in Poway, also breaking the record in Borrego Springs with 118 degrees. 2 degrees higher than the previous record of 116. An excessive heat warning will continue through Monday night for inland communities and mountains. But for the deserts, it's going to stay tough all the way through Wednesday of next week. There could be a slight cool down Sunday and Monday, but the temperatures will be ramping up all around the county for the middle of next week. I'll break it all down in our 7-day forecast coming up.
Angelica, thank you. To our north, crews are worried the weather will hamper their efforts to get a handle on the lake fire. It has burned more than 11,000 acres in the Angeles National Forest. Look at that. It's just 12% contained. Some homes have burned there. Thousands more are threatened tonight. Right now, crews believe they won't have it contained until September 2nd. In the meantime, there is better news about the other big fire that's burning in L.A. County. The ranch fire in Azusa is now burning away from homes. It's burned about 2,500 acres, but no buildings. The cause of both fires are under investigation.